Hey, what's up, everybody? How you doing? It's your man, the shopkeeper, J. Kev, here, thenaturalwellnessshop.com. Just wanted to take a few minutes to talk about the importance, the essentialness, how much the emphasis that we're to place on really taking care of our mental health and doing whatever it takes to make sure that we stay strong when it comes to how we think, in our thoughts, in our beliefs, and some of the messages and things that happen to traffic through our mind as we go throughout the day, handling our business and taking care of our obligations. I think one of the things, this is really becoming even more important as we move forward into this world that we live in, that we're being pushed into, as far as one of being more digital than analog, I guess you could say. And it's just something that seems to be on the uptick in our culture, in our world at the moment, of where people are having a lot of issues and stuff when it comes to negative emotions and thoughts, and when it comes to depression and anxiety and worry, and when it comes to people not feeling 100, when it comes to people not feeling content, satisfied, or maintaining or sustaining a certain level of happiness or contentment in this world. So I was just thinking about that, just looking at how I've been coming across a lot of articles talking about the increase of depression, and especially amongst teens, and then looking at the suicide rates are going up when it comes to the population in general, but it's exploding in the teenage area. Then also the soldiers, military, it's really exploding too, as far as suicide. So I was just thinking about some simple things that we can do in order to maintain contentment and a sustained level of realistic happiness, or a sustained level of joy, even given that you're not walking around, smiling and laughing all the time, but just coming back to a place of knowing that no matter how hard or tough or things may seem, or no matter how long lasting the challenges may feel, just having that inner knowledge, that inner resoluteness or resolve or solidity about you, just knowing that things is going to be all right, just having an inner peace and resiliency, grittiness about you, to just keeping a good positive outlook and attitude. Not to say you're going to be laughing and grinning all the time, but just having a underlying core of joy and calmness and peace, perfect peace about you, that can sustain you and baffle ordinary minds. So I was just thinking about that, and let's see what kind of got me going along this trek. I woke up today and I was thinking about the hacking of the American mind. I read it a while back by Dr. Robert Lustig, and it just popped in my mind. And so I happened to visit his site and go back over some of the concepts, the 4 C's. He talks about the 4 C's to create real and lasting happiness for yourself, your family, and society. And I just thought, the 4 C's is something it's a framework that has kind of stuck with me. And it's something I kind of come back to, as far as just, keeping things simple, silly, keep it simple, silly, and not overcomplicating things, so just the 4 C's is a simple framework in which you can look at and place, help frame your mind, that'll help you, achieve and maintain a certain level of happiness that, will help you live more in your purpose and more in line with, in a way in which you deem that you want to live as far as your life and your journey. We don't want your journey to be depressing and full of anxiety and frustration, anger and hatred and all these other negative emotions. We don't want you to stay there, but we want you to be able to come back to a place of peace. So I was just thinking about that, and let me see here. And then I ran across this other article too, but I'll get to it a little later. Let me see. Oh yeah. Now, Dr. Robert Lustig, he's a professor emeritus of pediatrics, Division of Endocrinology at the University of California, San Francisco. He specializes in the field of neuroendocrinology with an emphasis on the regulation of energy balance by the central nervous system. His research and clinical practice has focused on childhood obesity, diabetes, and diabetes. He holds a bachelor's of science from MIT, a doctorate in medicine from Cornell, and a master's of studies in law from UC Hastings. The Hacking of the American Mind is a book that I highly recommend. And he just talks about how corporate America, he talks about the science behind the corporate takeover of our bodies and brains, and how when you look at a lot of the processed foods that we eat today with respect to how much sugar is used in them, he talks about how sugar has been used as a weapon. It's been weaponized, and it's been used as the means in which to harness and take control of and influence to a high and heavy degree the minds of the masses, the minds and bodies of the masses, so to speak. So he gets real deep into a lot of stuff. He talks about sugar and the power of sugar and how corporate America has used and weaponized the power of sugar, and how the 4 C's is a simple solution on which we can arm ourselves, in which you can arm yourself when it comes to your everyday life, and in which you can live a life more and more in line with what you would like it to do. Now, given that this is the Natural Wellness Shop, we want you to live naturally well the way nature intended. So in order to do that, you have to be on guard, aware, and awake as to some of the tactics, strategies, and propaganda that's being aimed at you constantly coming against you. You have to be mindful and aware of these things. Now, the 4 C's, I'll go through the 4 C's real quick. He talks about some of the things that the corporations are doing. Pretty much they've hacked our dopamine, our endocrinology, our endocrine system, and they've gotten us hooked on pleasure. And he talks about the difference between pleasure and happiness and how we've become pleasure addicted. He says that pleasure is visceral, it's short-lived, it's often experienced alone, it's achieved with substances, it leads to addiction, and it's highly dopamine based. Dopamine is a reward neurotransmitter that tells our brains this feels good and I want more. He talks about happiness is long-lived. It's ethereal, giving experience in social groups, not achieved with substances. No such thing as being addicted to happiness. It's highly serotonin based. Serotonin is a contentment neurotransmitter that tells our brains, this feels good, I have enough. This feels good, I don't want or need more. That's where you want to be, where you feel good and you don't need more, versus this feels good, I want more. So one keeps you thirsty, the other one keeps you satisfied. Ideally, both should be in optimal supply, but dopamine drives down serotonin, and chronic stress drives down both. The irony is, the more pleasure you seek, the more unhappy you get. So it creates this downward spiral. So he talks about connecting and contributing and coping and cooking, the 4 C's that is backed by science. And this is something that will help you when you use it. It will help you stay happy. It will help you stay content to where you don't feel like you want more. This is something that's simple, it's effective, and it works. Let me circle back around. Connecting means to do anything face to face, eye to eye, in real life with real people. So you want to do that as much as possible. We are humans, and we're meant to make those real human connections. Now, I'm one to say that, use these online platforms as a tool to, generate superficial connections that are useful, but at the same time, make even more so generate and do the best you can when it comes to your real life connections. Contribute, find something, make yourself useful, and find something that in which you can give yourself to. Contributing must be for non-personal gain, for the benefit of children, family, friends, or the world at large. Work can be Work can be contribution if both you and your boss can see the effects. Making money is not contributing. Spending money is not contributing, but charity is. So he just talks about, contribution being one of the C's, and then coping. This is all about self-care, and this is something I see that a lot of people need to learn how to do with more regularity and with routine today, and that you have to be adamant and you have to make it a responsibility and obligation of yours to cope and take care of yourself by any means necessary. Sleep is one way, exercise, and then he talks about he doesn't talk about it with, meditation is another one, being mindful, limiting your time on your screen time. These are things that we can do as far as keeping the bad stress levels down, and keeping ourselves in a manner in which we can cope well in life. And then cooking. Cooking is not a luxury, it's a necessity. 33% of Americans don't know how to cook, making them lifetime hostage to the food industry. So you want to make sure that you hone and cultivate and learn how to keep those skills of cooking in use. Cooking does a lot of things for us. When you cook at home, it helps. It can help your pocket. It can help you make your relationships and make deeper connections, but also can help when it comes to your food and the food that you eat, given that you know where your food is coming from and you have a hand in fixing your food. So this is something I just want to talk about today. If you didn't listen to any other podcast today about mental health, make sure that you listen, share, and comment on this one. Definitely appreciated your time and attention today. I don't take it for granted. Just wanted to talk about the importance today of taking care of your mental health and some simple things that we can do that's very impactful when it comes to our mental health and our thoughts, but not only our mental health, but our physical health and our emotional health, and also our purpose, our spiritual health, our reason for being, our destined journey, the calling that each and every one of us has on our life. So this is all I had for today. Thanks for joining me. Love you. Blessings. Peace out.